What up, New York Giant Nation and football fans all over the world? It's your boy Mac the Giants fan. I'm here with my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. Y'all know what time it is. It's the real deal NFC East Round-Up. Punch that intro.
Cash flow.
What is going on? Good afternoon, everybody out there, man. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday afternoon. It's time for the real deal NFC East Roundup. How you feeling out there, Adam?
Feeling good, feeling good. Well, a little sad actually, but hopefully I'll be feeling good. We'll see.
Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy, man. Uh, Another interesting week NFC East football, man. Eagles still number one on top, even though they didn't even have a game this week. And Giants still scraping the bottom of the barrel, man. Bottom of the barrel, not only in the NFC East, but the bottom of the barrel in the whole entire league. The New York Giants are unquestionably, in my opinion, the worst team in football. We'll talk about those guys in a little bit. First, we're going to go out to the Pacific Northwest, man, on Sunday afternoon, where the Washington Commanders traveled out to Seattle in a big time game for both of these football teams. And the Seattle Seahawks end up edging out the Washington Commanders 29-26, but it was not from a lack of effort from this Commander team that gave it everything they had. They just came up a little bit short, and their young quarterback is continuing to mature into an absolute franchise guy. Sam Howell on the day, man, had a great performance out there on Sunday afternoon, man. Another 3 touchdown performance. This young man is really starting to open eyes up around the league. And I think if you're not paying attention, you need to. Washington Commanders have their quarterback in place. They need to build everything else up around this guy. And this team will be, once again, a competitive football team moving forward. And they're not quite there right now, but they're on. They look like they're potentially on their way. They just got to build up some more pieces around this kid and just build up the rest of the team in general. But how do you feel about this game, Adam?
Isn't it exciting to find out that you have a guy because you were patient and he rose above the X's and O's? That's what Sam Howell did. So this is what people aren't understanding. First off, the Commanders kind of cost themselves this game because they don't run the football well. If they were a run-based team, they would probably have milked the clock a little bit more and probably have gotten away with a win here. They did not. They passed the ball. They are more of I guess a Kansas City-esque type of scheme. Eric Bieniemy doesn't believe in the run. He believes in the pass to set up the run. But what you're seeing out of Sam Howell is really remarkable. And we're not really talking about it in the same light because it's his second year in the league, but he's on pace for almost 4,000 yards, over 4,200 yards. Like, that's a lot of passing yards for a guy who, at one point people laughed at him. They laughed at me when I said, yo, don't sleep on Sam Howell because he might actually be a guy, you know what I mean, that you might actually like, right? It might actually grow into something. And he has 2,700 yards and 17 TDs. We still have 7 games to go. So right now we're probably talking. You're probably talking about what do they have him here projected at? They're projecting his stats right now. I like to go to the overview. The overview gives you the projection. So they're projecting him to be on pace right now for 29 touchdowns and 4,700 yards. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? A second season, and you know the production you're going to get, and you're winning football games, and he's not putting the ball in harm's way, and he's learning from week to week. I think the thing that I like about watching Sam Howell is that he's learning from week to week. He's not always doing the same mistake he did last week. Even in the Giant game when he first played them, right? The first half, it looked like he couldn't do anything. Second half, he started to move the football a lot. And I think, going forward, when he starts to play teams again and start to recognize what's going on, you're going to see him evolve even more. I think the Commanders, while they got rid of Chase Young and rid of Montez Sweat, those guys were on expiring deals anyways. You get something back for them, a decent haul. If they were to go quarterback, which I don't think they will in this draft, because I do believe they're going to give this kid another chance. Especially if he finishes with the numbers that we project him to finish with, right? Close to 4,000 yards and 26 touchdowns. Guess what? You get that's there, man. You're there. You're up in that upper echelon and upper tier of quarterbacks already, and then the sky's the limit from that point on. And so, what they're going to need is, if I'm them, is first off, their offensive line starting to come together a little bit. They took Nick Gates out. They put in their offensive line. They look like they're protecting him a little bit better, as well as the decision making is coming out a little. The ball's coming out a little quicker. And he's learning to avoid pressure. And the thing that I liked was what you saw was the emotion and the play to tie the game up or take the lead. And then, of course, his defense couldn't hold up their end of the bargain, and they're lacking on defense. They are a okay defense. They're not a great defense. And I think next year you're going to see them invest back into that defense again, maybe getting a pass rusher. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a pass rusher. Things change. People change. Organizations change, right? And now they got draft capital, but they don't necessarily have to use it for a quarterback. So they can either sit back and let the players come to them, or they can move up and go target a player. Maybe they want to get a Marvin Harrison Jr., if he gets closer into the draft, and they say, hey, you know what, Giants, we'll trade up with you to get him, and we'll guarantee you this, whatever the case may be, right? This is what having that guy and on a rookie deal allows you to do, right? And if next year he comes back and that team's actually fighting for the playoffs, you might be talking about another Jalen Hurts type situation where you drafted a guy in the second round with low expectations, fifth round in this case for Sam Howell, and bang, he's exceeded all of them. So I'm excited going forward. I'm excited for their game against actually the Giants this week to really see if he's going to still be on that streak, right? Because, last week he played against Seattle. Seattle's not bad. They're not a bad defense. They're a bend but don't break. This weekend, and he went over 300 yards. I mean, let's be honest. He had a good game. He had 3 touchdowns. Like, if I told you that your quarterback was going to give you 312 yards and 3 touchdowns, have 65% passing and a 100.93 passer rating, you'd be like, that's great. That's elite status right there. I can't. And the thing is, he has 9 interceptions. Let's count. 4 of those came against Buffalo in week 2. Okay. So right now, technically, he's thrown about 5 interceptions since that 4 interception game. He's thrown one in almost every game, right? So that's not great. You don't want him to do that. But if you're getting 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, this is the first clean game. Second clean game he's played. Actually, he's played a lot of clean games where he hasn't turned the ball over. So he's not turning over it a lot, right? It's, week 2, no turnovers. Week against the Eagles, I don't remember that week is 1, 2, 3, 4. Against Eagles, no turnovers. Against the Falcons, no turnovers. And then this game, again, the Seahawks, no turnovers. 3 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, and 2 touchdowns, right? So he's throwing a lot of touchdowns. He had a lot of clean games. There's a lot of good things that Sam Howell's doing. Sorry, I've rambled on enough about Sam Howell.
But I mean, deservedly so. Good stuff. I mean, Sam Howell did out there have a great performance on Sunday. But let's talk about a couple of the other guys, like you said, because you said something that I think really hit the nail on the head, man. And I believe it's the defense when they get to this draft. Trade off Montez Sweat, Chase Young, acquire some draft capital, but they really need to put some more resources into this defense because that's kind of the side of the ball that's been kind of letting them down the most because he has some pretty good weapons on the offensive side of the ball already. I mean, even in this game here, Sam Howell spread the ball around 9 different receivers, man. So he's got some pretty decent weapons. And Brian Robinson Jr., the running back, is who led this team in receiving on Sunday with the 100-yard receiving day, 6 catches for 119 yards and a touchdown. So he's got weapons and can do it in multiple different facets, man. I mean, both of his 2 running backs were his 2 leading receivers on Sunday, as a matter of fact. Antonio Gibson was his next leading receiver on the day. So he's got. I mean, they just need if they commit a little bit more to the run, it could balance their offense out a little bit more and take a little bit of the pressure off of Sam Howell. But he's still getting it done despite that. So I mean, you deserve it. Everything you said about him. You deserve those good kind words about Sam Howell because he's out there balling. Like you said, each and every week he's getting better, man. He's taking those next steps each and every week, man. He's not being complacent. He's not saying I'm doing fine how the way I am. Making it a point to want to get better each and every week, and he is absolutely doing that, man. But if they take and put some of those resources into this defensive side of football, this team could really be on its way as soon as next year. Like you said, Jalen Hurts type of stuff we're talking about here potentially with Sam Howell and this Washington Commanders team in general, man. If they can build that defense back up, because like I said, I really believe in what some of the pieces they have. I mean, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, these are guys that you can count on out there. Jahan Dotson, he's got some decent guys already to work with offensively, and you can still obviously add more to that equation. Obviously, you don't have to just sit back and say we don't have to touch the offense at all because the offensive line definitely needs some work, obviously too. But you really need, they can get that defense back to playing at a consistent, at a high rate consistently. The Washington team could really be on its way as soon, like I said, as soon as next year, man. Uh, as far as like I said, the running thing, they just really need to balance that offense out, like you said, because that's the difference in this football game right there. I mean, they only ran the ball 14 times total, and in a game like this, it was never like we were never out of the game completely out of the game where you had to abandon the run. It's just a matter of offensive philosophy right there, and it's just showing that you just rather chuck the ball around, man. 44 pass attempts on the day for Sam Howell. I mean, realistically, in a game like this, a 3-point game is all it was, and the game was pretty close most of the way. So just just what you call it, you just run the ball, bounce that offense out a little bit more, and don't make it a little easier on the defense when they pretty much know that you're going to come out, drop back, and pass the ball the whole time. So don't make it that easy on defensive coordinators, man. Opposing defensive coordinators, and then this team could really be something special, man. Sam
Well,
Howell is impressing me big time. This Washington Commanders team is kind of impressing me because they just don't. They're a good football team. They just still need polishing. Put it that way, a little
well, you know,
polishing.
um, I think what the passing does is it extends the game, right? And so if they can just know when to run. I mean, if you don't want to run all game, fine. But like if you have the lead in the fourth quarter, start to run the football a little bit. Start to take the clock, dribble the clock out a little bit, make them use timeout so that your passing game doesn't doesn't stop you right from doing anything. So um, it's going to be interesting to see how they mature this and how they go forward. I don't know what they're going to do with the coach. I don't know how they're going to look at this situation going forward and say what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, I think they have their quarterback. Well, I don't think I know they have their quarterback because I don't think you're going to give up on a guy who's doing this. If you let him walk to a different team and he goes and Kirk Cousins your ass somewhere else, you're going to be absolutely railroaded, right? And you haven't been housed. Like you're doing this yourself. This kid came in. He's homegrown. Be smart about it. This ownership group will tell us a lot. If they keep Ron Rivera, which they might say, hey, you know what, Ron? We're a new ownership group. We're going to give you a clean slate. We'll give you one more year, or they'll promote Eric Bieniemy, which is what I think they might do. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to their game this Sunday, the Commanders.
And the also one thing also beautiful about this San Jose situation for Washington, and I don't know how they're going to end up playing this. I can't see into the future, but they got this kid for at least 1 or 2 more years on his rookie deal still. And they'll
Oh
have him
yes,
for at least 1 or 2 more years. So
and you're in
right
prime
now they're
position,
winning. You know what I mean?
right?
If you think the whole grand scheme of things, they're winning. You know
Right.
what I
I
mean?
mean,
So
exactly. But this is what I mean when I tell you to draft quarterbacks early on, even though to fill out the position, because you never know when you like if you had drafted Herndon Hooker this year, right? And let's say Herndon Hooker is going out there and looking competent like an NFL quarterback. Do you think I'm banging a table to draft a Caleb Williams? Probably not. If he was looking like Joshua Dobbs out there and moving the football and you're winning games and it's upbeat and whatever, and he's getting the system, I'm like, yo, let's bring back. I might still say draft a quarterback, or maybe not as high, right? But now, You don't even have one in the system. You don't even have one in the pipeline. We got a UDFA on the team, right? So they bring in a 5th-round pick on a guy who they took a flyer on, who again didn't have a lot of hype because his teammates left him. Right? I read the stats to you. He had 3,800 yards in his junior season, or in his sophomore season. In his junior year, he had 3,000 yards, still 29 touchdowns, but 800 yards rushing. So if you took half of those rushing yards, because he didn't rush for 800 yards ever in his career, he had 200, he had like 150 and 150, so like 300 yards total, and he's running for 800. If you took 500 of that and put it back on the passing yard side, you probably would have went up the ranks more, but he didn't. And he was in a draft class mulling about with Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis and all these other guys, and it was a weak class. And even at the combine, he was lighting it up at the combine, but he wasn't in the featured group, so nobody saw him. He was in like the second line that nobody cares about. And then here come the Commanders, and they do the one smart thing they've ever done, and that was take a flyer on this kid.
It was a great. I mean, it was a great pick. It was a value pick for sure at the time when they drafted him. I was surprised he was still available, but that's how the draft goes sometimes. But another thing, one more thing for the Washington Commanders I want to say is Brian Robinson Jr. is a pretty good running back. You just got to use him.
Give him the ball.
That kid is the type of running back that can absolutely wear defense down late in games. You know what I mean? If you're trying to just eat some clock up, that's exactly what he can do. I mean, even in this game here, he only got 8 carries for 38 yards. That's almost 5 yards a carry.
Imagine if we got another 8 carries. Maybe the game's over.
Give the man the ball.
Maybe the game's over.
Give the man the ball. That's it. I don't really have much more from this. This is a good win for Seattle. Honestly, it keeps their playoff hopes and looking a lot better. This could potentially have kind of put the nail in there for the Washington Commanders. Not necessarily, but obviously not mathematically. But it makes it a little bit tougher the rest of the way. Playing out the rest of their schedule, some more tough games on it.
Yeah, but you're looking at the evaluation
kind of
process here, really.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have anything more on the Washington for right now. We'll be getting back to them in a little bit, obviously.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, unfortunately, just where we're moving on to is Jesus. America's game of the week. Fox's NFL game of the week. Right here, baby. 49-17. And it wasn't even that close. The New York Football Giants traveled to Jerry's World to take on them Dallas Cowboys, and they just went out there and got absolutely embarrassed once again, like they have been most of this season. Another pathetic showing for the New York Giants. But what more can you say about this football team, man? They're sad right now, man. It's a sad football team. They are weak as hell at best. I don't even know what else to say about this squad, Adam, man. Just let's talk about it, man, for a little bit.
Well, it's hard to talk about this team, because the worst part about talking about this team is that we talk about it all week long. Like, I'm listening to different spaces and shows and channels, and everyone saying this quarterback, that quarterback. I got a guy telling me Daniel Jones is going to be back. No shit, Sherlock. His contract is, locked in, so he's not going anywhere. But never say never. That's how I look at it. But this team is abysmal, and they're terrible in every facet of the game. Here's my issue, and I'll start with Brian Daboll. I'm not going to yell tonight because I've yelled all week. I've done a lot of yelling about this guy. I might get a little more fired up, but not going to yell and scream. But I want to say this. The people who want to advocate Brian Daboll being fired, he's not going anywhere. There was a report out there that they're probably not going anywhere. Okay, can we put that to rest now? Can we put that to bed now? He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
He's built up some clout. I know that. Daniel Jones, he'll probably be back because of the contract. We know that. Let's get that out of our heads. This team is on a crash course for the number 2 seed. We couldn't do a damn thing against Cowboys. The Cowboys laughed at us the entire time. And then they laughed at us so much that they put their backups in and were like, fine, you don't want to die and roll over and just give the ball to Saquon and kind of ease this game? No, we're going to call timeouts. We're going to do dumb shit as the Giants. I mean, I knew this was going to be a bad game when you challenged a play that was already being looked at. They already ruled it a fumble on the field so they could take a look at it. That's what they did. And then you ended up challenging anyways. And then when they embarrassed you on TV, because then they were like, well, the Giants, the play was being reviewed, and then the Giants challenged, so the Giants are losing a challenge. They're still losing a timeout and a challenge. And then they're like, oh, wait, no, the Giants now are going to look at to see if the runner was down by I was like, this is ridiculous. I wasted 5 minutes of my time to find out that you were an idiot for doing that. And you had plenty of time because it wasn't like the Cowboys were rushing the play. The Cowboys were sitting there going 9:15, doing their whole damn cadence. They threw the challenge flag at 13 minutes ago. They ruled it a fumble, and then the guy got the little ding in his headset to say, okay, it's down by contact. Let's spot the ball and roll. You don't think they're on top of this? And you have nobody in the stadium, and your response is they didn't show a replay? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is what I'm talking about. Now, another thing. Why are we calling timeout? Or why are we trying to score points at the end of a game when we're getting absolutely shellacked? What does it matter if we get 7 points to Sterling Shepard? What is that? Is that his gold wristwatch? Here you go. Here's a touchdown for you. Hey. Write it on there.
You got a touchdown this season.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, Sterling. You got a touchdown every year of your career, I guess. I don't know. You didn't want this season to be your only season where you didn't score at least one touchdown. I don't know. I have no idea what the hell the method was behind that.
I guess maybe you're right. Because if you think about it, he scored a touchdown in last year before he blew his knee in game one, right? The bomb from Daniel to Sterling, and then you're right. Maybe that's the streak they wanted. Is a touchdown in every season at the very least. I mean, the guy is slow. He doesn't have a juice in him.
I can't think of anything else.
I mean, I'm just saying.
His knees are completely fucking shot.
The thing is this. I don't need so let's get into it, okay? The Giants don't need to play, and they suck. They stink. They absolutely are trash. Defense didn't do anything. They gave up 600 yards, over 600 yards of total offense. 600 yards of total. You know how hard.
Hold on. Slow down. Go back. Slow down. Because, like I said, I wanted in the defense's defense, however that makes sense. I do want to say they came out initially playing a little bit of inspired football. They truly did. Like I said, this offense is what's kind of like really driving a wedge through this team right now. Because the defense came out initially early in this game, and they did play a little bit of inspired football, a little bit. And then it was like after you just keep watching the offense go out there and just look the way the New York Giants offense looks.
I don't know. That's the Chicago Bears.
And like you said, I mean,
the Chicago Bears
on the first drive. They got the big goal line stance. They got the big goal line stance. They created the interception, and they just watched this offense come out there and like look at this offense. Tommy DeVito dropped back 27 times on Sunday. He dropped back 27 times. He completed 14 of those passes, and yet he threw for a mind-boggling 86 yards. 86 yards.
See,
now Dak Prescott dropped back 35 times, and he threw for 404 yards.
Yes, he averaged 100 yards a quarter. My point is this: I don't give a damn if we have a backup quarterback out there. If you're a defense, show the fuck up. I mean, the Chicago Bears, they just got new defensive players, and they didn't even let Carolina go down the field. They put the clamps down. They're like, okay, we're gonna not let you score anymore. They're not just gonna. They didn't let 400 yard guys running wide open, grabby here, this guy here, nothing. No, Dak Prescott's reading War and Peace. We're not getting any pressure. I get it. They played inspired football for like one drive. And the drive went down, they're up 14-0. If you're a good defense, you can will your way to victory. I get it, right? We've seen it across the NFL. I can't excuse 600 yards of offense. Running
I'm
down
not
the field,
excusing
wide
that. I'm
open.
just
They
saying.
could have
I'm
easily
just
had
trying to put a
61
little
points.
methodology behind it. That's all. Like a little bit of what my
Oh,
reasoning for like the defense collapsed. I felt like after like they just watched the offense continue to do absolutely nothing. I mean, they gave the ball back to their offense in the game, which you were at that point in time we were still very much in the football game. Obviously, gave the ball to them in a red zone drive. Like you're starting in the red zone, and this offense could do absolutely nothing.
right.
Absolutely nothing.
I get
And
it.
then you turn the ball over on downs. You didn't even get anything. You didn't even get the damn field goal.
Dude,
You
this
turned
game
the
could
ball over
easily
on downs.
This could have been 60 to nothing. Look, I understand, but you play defense. I can only critique you on the performance there. I don't care that you mentally know that. It's not. Let's not give these players some type of like, they didn't know what they were doing. They know what they're up against. They knew they were going to get their butts kicked. Show a little bit more. Stop somebody. You know what I mean? The backups came up and moved the football downfield. Cooper Rush comes in, they get an interception. All right, they're down 47-0. They're dancing. They come back, and that Cowboys didn't score again with the backups in. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Play inspired football. There are 32 other teams in this league looking at you. And now we got guys on the injury report that I didn't even know were injured, like Bobby Okereke. He's got a hip injury. Like, what are we doing right now? This is what I mean. It's like, I understand. Jihad Ward's still playing hard. I don't like that you're celebrating that we're 47-0, but you're still playing hard. You know, Isaiah Simmons, you're still running around, give me some type of effort. But somehow we're still just getting railroaded. And I can't just sit there and say, well, you know, they're playing with this. I've seen teams across the league with bad offenses that are playing with great defenses that are just performing. I mean, look at the Broncos.
But there's bad offenses, and then there's the New York Giants offense. And
I understand that, but still.
Whole different thing.
I'm not exonerating the defense because of how putrid the offense is. I'm not. You go out there and you do your job and play.
I'm not exonerating them because the 600 yards is egregious. I'm just saying that I gotta let people. I just want people to understand that they did. They came out. I felt like they came out ready to play this football game. The defensive side of football did come out genuinely ready to play this football game.
Well, technically,
and I just feel like
they got the ball moved down to the 1 yard line and they stopped them there, knowing that they had a putrid offense. They could have easily took the 3 points and we would have lost by 52 to 17. I mean, there was times for doing that, and they called the dogs off at one point when they were just like, "This is too easy." They just go like Swiss cheese through butter. They called the dogs off. So the thing is, and I get it. On defense, we couldn't do anything, but we don't do anything offensively anyways. We don't throw it to Barkley. We don't give him the rock. We don't do anything. If you're that worried about Tommy DeVito, make Saquon Barkley the Wildcat quarterback and run like that with him, because that is more different. And you can bring in Tommy DeVito and you can run these plays. You can do a lot of things if you wanted to. They couldn't. Now, defensively, I understood, but it's still an embarrassment. I still want to see some effort. I still don't want to just be lying. And that's what I'm saying. There's certain effort from certain guys, but it's just horrible to watch when you're giving up 600 yards and guys who dance. I mean, we gave up 3 receivers on their team at over 100 yards. 2 of them at 170 yards, 150 yards. CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks both were all 300 yards for our 2 guys.
I mean, that's not acceptable. I mean, like you said, we got outgained by over 500 yards. That's not acceptable no matter what. I'm just, like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm excusing that performance defensively. I know
but the whole
like
team
to be
is
frustrated on a bad team, and you're frustrated. And I understand what it's like when you just, especially when one side of the ball is just playing significantly worse than the other side of the football. As bad as we might feel like this defense actually still is too, it's not, they're not off the hook for playing the way they've been playing most of the season.
Bad.
But at the end of the day, they're still significantly better than what this offense is showing. I mean, significantly better. I mean, miles better. It's not even close to me.
Right,
It's like,
but now you're losing guys on that side of the football this week too. So now what are we doing here? Okay, I understand it. The Giants are not trying to win. You got to know that as a defensive player. But to me, I look at it like this. If I'm the Giants right now, the last 7 weeks to me are evaluation weeks. I don't care about the outcome of the game. I care about who's going to be on this team. That's what you do. What they need to do is that's what they need to come out and say. I don't want to hear any more about this. We're going to bring Daniel back, any of this stuff. No, we know the fan base knows what's in. We know what's coming. It's time to start evaluating those players. That's what time it is. And I don't want to hear anyone say bring back Tyrod Taylor. I'll tell you why. I don't care about Tommy DeVito. The thing is, Tyrod Taylor's not going to be here. He's 33 years old. Do you think he's the future of this franchise? No. I'd rather give Tommy DeVito a shot to prove that he's even capable of being a backup in this league. Okay? He's a UDFA for a reason, but there's no reason to put back in Tyrod Taylor when I have a guy who is brought in as a rookie class and needs reps. Why not give him reps on a season that is lost anyways? Why not give him that experience so that next year when he comes in, if he's on this team, on the roster, you never know what happens. I don't think they're not going to not draft a quarterback because Tommy DeVito suddenly improves a little bit. To me, understand the situation. I know people don't want to talk about tanking, but it's not tanking if you're trying to evaluate your quarterback and give us that opportunity. Say that to us. Just like, look, he's the starter for the year. Don't even tease about Tyrod Taylor coming back. And I know Tyrod knows Tyrod's going to get his money. He knows he's going to get a job somewhere else. It's just not here. And he knows it's not here. And don't be scared of – the thing is, it's time. It's time to move on and let this guy come in. Because to me, logically, if I'm Brian Daboll, this is what I would say to the media. Tommy DeVito is going to be the guy going forward the rest of the games. Bang. Nobody needs to ask about a quarterback controversy. He's your guy. I want to see him improve the rest of the way. I want to give him this experience. He may never get this experience again. And we also have to evaluate a quarterback for the backup position as well, in case Daniel comes back or we draft a quarterback here. Now, he's not going to say the other part, but if he wants to throw in Daniel Jones there to pretend that he's coming back, fine. You still need that position to be filled. So we want to give him an opportunity to fill that position. And the only way he's going to do that is by game experience. How are you going to evaluate a guy on the bench?
You can't evaluate. This is real quick. Alex, what's going on? Say my man Alex in the Big Blue in the Bronx in the chat, man. On one point, man, the Giants had 10 men lined up in coverage, not 11. How many times has this happened? Yeah, that's just synonymous with this New York Giants season, man. Because that's just embarrassing. That's inexcusable, man. Stuff like that. That's
right.
That's high school, little league. That's inexcusable. That's bad. That's a bad look. That's a bad look, man. That's just this is how bad this football team is. And Willie Vassar, real quick. Willie Vassar, he as in he says Adam and Mac, it will be okay. I have been through this before with my Cowboys back in '89. We went 1-15.
That's a long time ago.
And the Giants had never been through that. That was a long time ago, but you turned that 1-15 around into a dynasty. So New York Giants had never been through that before either. So and if New York Giants are headed to 2-15, man, it looks like the way things are looking. 2-15 looks like in our very near future. But we will see.
But the only
time will tell. I'm not expecting a turnaround like the Cowboys had back then. I don't see that right now with this football team. What's going on?
Yes, you can't go in. Big Blue in the Bronx is right. You can't go in with the same coaching staff next year. Yes, Bobby Johnson needs to be swapped, gone. Bobby J needs to be gone. Kafka, I'm not saying you need to swap him. I've been hearing a lot about this, and people I trust in some of these spaces have said they've looked at film and saying that the scheme is working to get guys open, which I said last year, but nobody wanted to listen to me. But that's okay. They're scheming guys open. So guys are open. They just haven't been getting the ball. So I don't want to necessarily say Kafka is to blame. He is to blame for certain things. But if Kafka goes to, let's say, Northwestern, yes, Dorsey will probably be in here. I'll tell you this right now, folks. It will be malpractice or negligence, gross negligence, whatever negative political corporate term you want to use. If they don't draft a quarterback in the first round, at least, if they're there. I don't care about trading up and down and doing that. We can talk about that if they land at 5 or 6, because I'm sure there's other guys in here that they can bring in. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. I get it. But if you're there and you have a chance at Drake May or Caleb Williams, you take that shit and run. And you don't let Daniel Jones and his albatross of a contract stop you if they want their jobs. If they don't want their jobs and they think that they're going to be outed, because now I'm hearing rumors that they're trying to that they say Bill Belichick is coming in. What are we grabbing at straws here? We're grabbing at everything. I got Jordan Schultz saying Daniel Jones will be back. Thanks for the clickbait. I got WFAN saying Bill Belichick's coming down the road. Give me a break. What are we doing here? I mean, Bill Belichick, I have a better chance of being the coach than Bill Belichick right now. And what I'm saying is if you draft a quarterback, guess what's happening, folks? 3 years you're going to get. He's probably going to ride this contract out. If they don't, he's getting fired anyways. So either way, they're not going to make him a lame duck coach and draft a quarterback and not bring him back. If they draft a quarterback, that's what I'll believe that they trust Joe Schoen. If you're not going to draft a quarterback this year, both of them don't need to be here because that tells me exactly what you think is happening with them.
Yeah, but another thing with Tommy DeVito, man, is like if you're gonna even remotely try to evaluate this kid, then you got to take the reins off a little bit, man. You can't just like that 4th and 2 play is driving me crazy every time I just look at that play in my head and go back and see that play in my head because it's 4th and 2. We have not ran the ball worth diddly squat at that point in the game. And yet all you do is turn around and do the one thing that they were mostly expecting you to do anyway, which is put the ball back in Saquon's belly at that point in time. If you don't trust your quarterback with the ball in his hand in that situation, then what is he even out there for? That's what bothers me with this coaching staff right now. I mean, it's 4th and 2 down there on the goal line and pretty much on the goal line at that point. We had an opportunity to get a first down and get 4 more downs and try to punch one in. And this is what you're calling as your. I mean, how is that in your team? So that's a failure from a coaching standpoint right there because you're not instilling confidence in your football team in that way. You're pretty much saying we're just going to do the obvious. They're probably going to stop it, and now we'll just have to put our defense back out there. And that's exactly what happened. And then everything just fell apart at that point, completely apart at that point. That's when the game just got busted wide open at that point right there. The defense laid down and quit from that point on, and then and the offense continued to do absolutely nothing. So it's just crazy to me, man, with this football team, man. Everything about this football team this year, it's the worst season for me as a New York Giants fan that I've endured as a fan. I've never seen a New York Giant team look quite like this one, and we've seen some bad New York Giant teams along the way, but nothing quite like this. I just can't figure it out, man. Every week something just blows my mind even more.
That is true. That is true. I mean, the thing is, going forward with this team, I don't care if Tommy is the starter. Sometimes you gotta understand where you're at. I don't want to hear about like the fact that we're fanning the flames to try to get this Daniel Jones back and everything like that. That's to coddle Daniel Jones. That's to get out there and let it be known that we're bringing back Daniel Jones, so we're not going to go for a quarterback and all this other shit. No. The Giants are going to go for a quarterback, whether it's Caleb Williams, whether it's Drake May, whether it's J.J. McCarthy. Watch, I'm telling you right now, the hype machine begins in January when all these guys get to go to pro days and bowl games and all that. Late January, before the football season starts, you're going to have combine, you're going to have all this stuff before the Super Bowl, East West Shrine Game, Senior Bowl. Then you're going to have March come and you're going to have all these pro days. The hype machine will be real. I'm telling you that right now. So if the Giants don't pick one at the beginning of the draft, they sure as hell are going to pick one, and they better pick one in the first round of this draft. Because if you pass on this quarterback class and you don't even have one next year and you let the next coach who might come in here run this team, you may not be up in the second or third round. You may not be in the top 10 again. Maybe maybe you win 11 games, maybe like the Redskins, the Commanders, and you win a couple games. Right, you end up 6-10, 7-10, outside the top 10 to pick a quarterback, and there's only like 3 of them this year that are bona fide good. When you have at least 12 in this draft class that will be first and second rounders, you cannot punt here. Okay, I do not care what happens the rest of the way. You cannot punt here. I'm telling you, people. I'm telling you right now. I know people want Marvin Harrison. Great, that's fine. I get it, but there's no guarantee you're going to be able to trade back up in to the first round and get the guy you want. If you want to trade back, I'm all for that to get more picks in this draft. I'm all for that as well. to do that, but pick a guy. There's going to be at least 5 of them in the first round. I'm telling you that. Mark my words. 5 in the first round. Don't miss out on one of those 5.
I mean, I hear you. I mean, a quarterback is definitely a must. Well, he addresses to you, but look, it's not all his fault, but it's some of his fault too, bro. It's time to move on. It's not. It's not just replace the offensive line and everything's going to be okay. Daniel Jones is not the guy for this team. It's
Whoa,
just not.
whoa,
It's
whoa,
not
whoa,
it.
whoa,
It's
whoa,
over with. It's done.
Willie.
It's over with.
It's
It's over with.
yes. Max said it best. It's done. There's no. He stinks. This is the same argument you're making is the same argument that we've been having for weeks, for years. The sum of its parts. Like you can't just keep telling me it's the O line when I'm watching guys play better with the offensive line. You can't. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Let's move on.
Yeah, real quick too, because while we've been talking about the Giants a whole lot here, man, the Cowboys came out, man,
Ooh,
with
Dak
a
Prescott looks
tremendous
good.
effort in this game. Obviously, man, Dak Prescott looking like, I mean, player of the month probably for the month of, I mean, looking like he's on his way to
He
being
won't
player
be
of the
playing the
month in
month.
November here, man, putting up insane numbers, man. In this game, 26-35 for 404 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did have the 1 interception, but hey, look, 4 touchdowns trumps 1 interception any day of the week, man.
He had
So,
5 touchdowns,
like
actually.
you said, what he spread us.
He
He had
ran one
five
in.
touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown too. He
Yes.
ran one. He ran one in too. Yeah, 5. So yeah, 5 touchdowns on the day for Dak Prescott, and then spreading the ball around the way he did. Like you said, 2 receivers over 150 yards. I mean, just those 2 guys alone accounted for over 300 yards of offense. And I mean, this big play after big play after big play in this game, man. CeeDee Lamb had one hell of a day. I mean, ran touchdown in, caught a touchdown pass. I mean, this
Yeah, I
offense
thought
was
you said
looked
it
like a
wasn't a number
video game.
one.
They were doing whatever they wanted to do, man. Doing whatever they wanted to do. I mean,
CeeDee Lamb keeps
and then the
receipts, Mac.
sacks. Let's get to the sacks. And then 5 sacks on the day, adding 5 more sacks to their total
They could have
on
more.
the day against the New York Giants, man. And they absolutely could have had more, man. I ain't gonna lie. Tommy DeVito got out of a couple sticky situations. Honestly, they could have definitely had more.
They
But the
should have had
fact that the
more.
final score here, 49-17, the Dallas Cowboys on the season outscored the New York Giants 89-17 on the season.
That is
You
terrible.
don't ever want to see that. That's terrible from a division rival. A division rival just absolutely destroying you like that, and both this team hasn't even played the Philadelphia Eagles yet.
Oh,
What are they going to do to the New York Giants when they play? What's going to happen when those games come around? When the New York Giants actually play traditionally worse against the Eagles than they do against the Cowboys? Come on. I, I don't even know. I was all when they announced the schedule. I was all hyped up. I was going like I'm going to see the Eagles and Giants game Christmas Day. Yeah, no, I'm not wasting money on that shit. Forget about it. Forget
oh
about it. I'm not
man.
wasting my money on that
I
shit.
remember us talking about
I'm
that
not
too.
freezing my ass off on Christmas Day.
Uh,
Sitting out there freezing my ass off watching this
shit.
team get
I don't even
destroyed
know if I'll be
with Tommy
watching the game
DeVito at
Christmas Day, man.
quarterback.
I'll be watching the NBA or
Or,
something.
or maybe by then it might be Matt Barkley. It might be Matt Barkley by then. Who the hell knows?
Oh man, please. As long as it's
But
not Tyrod Taylor. Look, as long as it's not Tyrod Taylor, because I don't want to lose my draft position. I don't want to lose my draft position. Tyrod will lose it for me. He'll put it in and he'll win a game happenstance wise, and that's it. I mean, the offensive line is still trash. Brennerson is still garbage. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this week. But as for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott has a powder puff game coming up this week. He's got the Carolina Panthers. I expect him to put another, big game out there for him. And kind of, this is what we're talking about here, right? This is what we mean by controlling their destiny. I told people about the Cowboys. I said they lost to the Eagles. I even rewatched the game. I rewatched the game because I wanted to make sure that the Cowboys weren't blown out, and they were not. They were in that game, very much so. Okay, a bounce here, a bounce there, a fumble here, a fumble there, and we might be talking about a different outcome. Okay, they didn't get a couple fumbles when they could have had some chances when the ball was on the ground. They didn't. This game proved to me they're locked in. Now, defensively, They lost Leighton Vander Esch. He's going to be out for the year. So, they've lost a lot of their defensive star power. Let's see if they can hold it together, because I do believe if they can get to December 10th and they beat the Giants and then they beat the Commanders 3 days later and they have the 10-day window and then they play, I forget who they play on the week they come back, the 30th week, right? Let's just bring our schedule up. Why? We have Google here, people. Why are we sitting here acting like we can't on live air find out? So they played the Panthers, Commanders, and then they played the Seahawks, right? Which on Sunday Night Football. Okay, so they have a chance to easily go into that Seattle game and be 7-3. Okay, 7-3, and that's 8-3 go into that Seattle game, right? And if they beat Seattle, and let's say the Eagles happen to lose one of the games against the 49ers or the Kansas City Chiefs, well, guess what? That game will be for the division. And at the rest of this, looking at this schedule right here, the Cowboys can easily win some games. The Buffalo Bills look like they're unraveling. Miami Dolphins, have a suspect offensive line. I think their defense can keep up with them. And then the Lions, I think the last true test will be for the Lions in this division race will be for the Lions December 30th. New Year's the day before New Year's Eve, Saturday night football. Let me just double check that. December. Yeah, Saturday night football. Ooh, that's gonna be a good game. Ooh. Oh man. The Cowboys have their hands in their destiny. Okay. They have their hands in their destiny in their own. If they take care of business these next few weeks, and the Commander could easily beat them, right? I'm not expecting Commanders to win, but division game, you never know what happens on Thanksgiving. But Panthers, you have 2 winnable games right now. Go win those games. Get to that December 10th game, and then we'll see what really happens in your building.
Well, we shall see. We shall see, man. But I guess we're gonna get ready to move on here, unless you got any more final thoughts. I mean, one more thing about the Cowboys. This is late in this game after the starters didn't play fourth quarter really at all, other than getting CeeDee Lamb a couple more catches and have his little get that record.
Dak Prescott had 400
Other than that, the starters did not play the fourth quarter at all in this game, and then so their backups come in. Cooper Rush, bunch of little backup running backs that we don't know a whole lot about. Rico Dowdle, 12 carries, 79 yards. This guy, as their backup running back, comes in the game, and he absolutely shreds the New York Giants defense late in this football game. I mean, it's just the way this New York Giant team is built, the way that they find ways to keep losing. It's an embarrassment. I mean, even they're getting their ass kicked by even backup players at this point. But then again, the New York Giants starters a lot of them are probably backups on most teams anyway. I mean, let's be honest. That is what it is. But it's just this is how pathetic the New York Giants, how far the New York Giants have fallen right now, man. And as a fan, it's very disappointing because it's been a long time, man. We haven't been good in a very long time, and it's getting a little frustrating. As a fan, you just want to see your team do well, and then just can't. This team can't seem to just figure it out and get out their own way, man. It's disappointing because New York Giants, no matter how you feel about them, what you want to say, all the jokes you want to crack, the New York Giants is a historic franchise in this league, in the story of the NFL. Period, couldn't even remotely be written without the New York Giants franchise, man. So it's just a damn shame that right now they are about as bad as it gets right now, currently, as things stand. But we can get ready to move on unless you have any more final thoughts about either one of these teams, Adam.
I do not.
Well, let's go ahead and let's just go right to the preview. Let's just get this so we can get these guys out the way, man. Because I'm tired of talking about myself.
Mm-hmm.
New York Giants traveling down to FedEx, take on the Washington FedEx Field, take on the Washington Commanders on Sunday afternoon, 1:00. And right now, the New York Giants currently are 10-point underdogs against a team that, or actually went down to 8.5 now, but still doesn't matter. This is against a team that they usually play well against, but under a lot more different circumstances. I don't know how they'll be being led by Tommy DeVito. I just don't know what to expect, and I'm damn sure not banking on we play well against Washington bull crap. That's right now. This New York Giants team doesn't play well against anybody. And even a couple weeks ago when they beat Washington, it wasn't because they played well. At least not offensively, they didn't play well anyway. They didn't beat them because they played so great. They just beat them because the defense played out of their mind and the offense did just enough to get the victory. So I don't know what they expect in this one, but the way Washington's been playing, coming off a very tough loss, I think they're going to be out for blood in this one, man. And the fact that the New York Giants have been a thorn in their side. I mean, and now is a perfect time to just take full advantage of that and take all that frustration out and beat up on what is a very, very bad football team. And I think they're going to do it, man. I just don't expect much from the New York Giants in this game. On the road, I think the writing's on the wall for the New York Giants. Obviously, we saw the effort in Dallas. I think we want to get a similar effort against the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders probably won't quite beat us in the same fashion, but I think it's going to be a pretty lopsided win, lopsided game nonetheless. I don't know how you feel about it, Adam.
So here's how the injury report looks for the Giants. Jalen Hyatt, concussion, he did not practice. Evan Neal, ankle, he did not practice. Dexter Lawrence, rest day, he did not practice. Kayvon Thibodeau, concussion, he did not practice. Bobby Okereke, hip, he did not practice. Adoree Jackson, concussion, he did not practice. If those guys don't practice tomorrow, they're probably not playing in the game. So you're talking about Thibodeau, Hyatt, Okereke, and Neal, and Adoree Jackson not playing. Some of your big heavy hitters. Now, these are the people who are limited in practice. Tommy DeVito, left shoulder. Saquon Barkley, ankle. Wan'Dale Robinson, knee. We obviously know that. Andrew Thomas now has a knee injury. Deontay Banks has an ankle. Cordell Flott has a shoulder. Xavier McKinney has a rib. And Pinnock has a thumb. They were all limited in practice. Okay, what does that mean? You're going in with a banged-up team. Your quarterback is now banged up. And you're hoping that, like, he can go out there and perform. I think Commanders are going to be fired up because they let one slip away last week. I think they're going to be at home. They're going to owe us a butt whooping, and I think, remember, we split the games essentially last year. One was a tie, one was a loss. We probably should have lost the game at home, and they probably should have won the game at their building, but it didn't happen because of the tie. I think we're going to split here. I really do. And what I mean by that is I think the Commanders are going to win. I think Sam Howell, I just gave you Adoree Jackson not playing, Bobby Okereke not playing, Kayvon Thibodeau not playing. Your starting backfield is banged up with Deontay Banks having an ankle injury, Cordell Flott with a shoulder, Xavier McKinney and Jason Pinnock all have injuries. Like, those are things that you're going to have to, if I'm the Commanders, I'm looking at their injury report and I'm testing those out. Oh, how bad is Deontay Banks' ankle? Go put Terry McLaurin on him. Go run a go route. I'm gonna hit you in the end zone. If you have no pass rush, if Kayvon Thibodeau doesn't play and they don't get any rush up the field on this team, because the offensive line is playing better for the Commanders, guess what? You're going to have a day where he's going to shred us all day long. And they're going to be in front of their home fans, which they haven't been in a while, okay? And they want to get a home win here. I know they can feel that home win. They want it. They won the game in Atlanta. I think that was last week. They won the game. I don't know if that game was at home, the game they won last week. But the Commanders, they do what they have to do. And I just want people to understand that this is not going to be an easy game. I don't want to hear, like Max said, I don't necessarily want to hear we're going to beat this team. Fluky things have happened, but, they beat the Patriots last week, right? Away. They go away and play the Seahawks. Now they have a game against a team that they know they can beat. Thank God it's at 1:00, right? At home. They haven't played at home since the Commander game where they got beaten since the Eagle game where they got beaten, right, by a touchdown. They're going to come out here and they're going to try to put that hurting on us. And they're going to try to say, hey, listen, we're going to try to get to 5 wins. We're going to try to put our best foot forward because, yes, even though they have the Cowboys, right, they still have the Rams. They have the Jets. You're talking about they could possibly get to maybe 7 wins and then luck their way into possibly 8 wins. Maybe the Cowboys don't need the game at the end of the year, right? Who knows? So, and the Cowboys will more likely be resting their players rather than the Eagles because the Eagles will probably still be playing number 1. But either way, If the Cowboys don't have anything to play for, why don't the Commanders might win that game? There's 3 at least winnable games on here for the Commanders to do it. It starts on Sunday. And I think you're gonna see a lot more passing from Howell. I wouldn't be surprised if late in the game Eric Bieniemy gets the memo and starts to run the football a little bit to try to speed up the clock going forward if they get a lead, because that would be it. If they get a double-digit lead against the Giants, I think the game probably is over, right? And at that point, you should just turn the ball and hand it and make Brian Robinson have his 100-yard day.
Well, I mean, you get a double-digit lead against the Giants, the game is over because the Giants can barely score double digits. So, I mean, a double-digit lead, I mean, that puts the Giants completely away. I mean, that's it. You're talking about, like I said, that's 17 points. That's against the Cowboys. That was a joke.
Thank you.
Joke to me. We got beat 49-10, damn it. That last touchdown doesn't count. I don't count that shit. They just rolled out the red carpet and said, go ahead and score because we don't care. We don't care if you score a touchdown. So that doesn't count. That doesn't make me feel better because we scored 17 points. Give me a break. We got our asses handed to us. We scored 10 points during the actual while the Cowboys were actually playing.
I think this will
Once
be like
they stopped playing, we scored another garbage touchdown late in the game. Give me a break.
This will be like the Raider game, I think. This will be similar to the Raider game, I feel like. It may not be that much of a beatdown, but I think that'll have the same feel. The Raiders, had their way with us that game. I think you saw the effort that you're going to see, right? And we need to figure out what is going on with this team. This team, again, this game is about evaluation. That's what we need to do. But I'm tired of talking about the Giants. Both teams want to evaluate, right? The Commanders have a better shot at getting to 7 or 8 games and putting a foundation, a stamp on this than the Giants do. Giants, don't worry about winning. Your quarterback already has a left shoulder injury. Let's hope he makes it out alive. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm talking about. I'm done with this team.
Just real quick, too, though. Thanks for letting me know, man. But I think I don't know what's going on. It's something with the StreamYard with me, man, on my end. Because my camera's fine. I don't know. It's something with the StreamYard and my Wi-Fi, I guess. But sorry about that. I'll try to get it better, man, for the next one. But as far as yeah, you're right. I'm done. I don't want to talk. Giants ain't winning this game. I can't even picture a scenario where I can fix my mouth to say that the Giants are winning this football game. I don't care that it's against the Washington Commanders. I don't care that we play well against the Washington Commanders traditionally. I don't care this is one team usually on. You look at the schedule every year, you kind of say Giants usually beat Washington. No, this is a different type of scenario. Like Adam said, the injury report between the injury report and just how bad this team is playing, period. At this point, defensively, we're going out there. It's pretty much going to be all on Dexter Lawrence's shoulders, and he obviously can't do it all by himself at the defensive tackle position. I mean, offensively, we have nothing other than Saquon Barkley, which makes it easy to play defense when all you got to worry about is one damn person to stop. I mean, it's we're not winning this game. Stop it. And I don't want to hear him fix their mouth to say we are, because it's going to make me angry, even more angry, that you even can believe such nonsense. Washington is at a way different level than us right now, currently, as things stand in this current season, man. We're not even. It's not even worth discussing anymore. Let's go on to Dallas and Carolina, man. This is you would think it should be a layup for the Dallas Cowboys, but you still got to go out there and play the game, man. And Dak's been playing really well. The Cowboys team been playing really well. But these are the kind of games right here that you got to still watch out, man. You just never know. You gotta kind of inspire Carolina teams. I would still searching, want to get another win under their belt under the season, man. You can make a case that they're the worst team in the league, but I believe the New York Giants are. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care that the Giants have one more win than the Carolina Panthers. I think this team still plays a little bit more inspired than the Giants do, and it makes them, to me, a little bit better. But at the same time, this is a tough task to ask them think that they have a chance, really, how much of a chance in this game, even though they're at home. but with the struggling, or Bryce Young struggling the way he's been struggling on the season, man, on his rookie year, this Dallas Cowboy defense will probably feast. And I'm just not sure Carolina has enough to will have enough to keep up with the Dallas Cowboys, man. I don't know how you feel about this one, Adam.
I think they're going to roll right over that team. I think there's not going to be anything to worry about. They're going to make Bryce Young look like, a shell, and they're going to steamroll this game too. I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Rush is playing in this game as well. I do believe you're right. They do play inspired the Carolina Panthers. I will give them that. Their defense is a bit feisty, but I don't think offensively they're going to make. You thought Tommy DeVito had it? I think Young will have a little bit more success, not as much, but a little bit more success than Tommy DeVito, but I don't think much success. I don't think there's much to worry about here if I'm a Cowboy fan. If the Cowboys don't have this game in the bag by the beginning of the third quarter, then I would be worried.
Yeah, I would. I'm kind of with you right there, man. I don't look at it to be as. I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as what they did to the New York Giants on Sunday. But at the end of the day, I think they should definitely be able to go out there and handle the Carolina Panthers in this one, man. It just really no reason why they should have much of a struggle in this one, man. And plus, at this point in the season, you can't have another one of those hiccups like you did earlier in the year against the Cardinals. They just can't. They can't afford that now. They are already at this point. What do they have? How many? They're like what, 2 games back behind the Eagles, 2 full games back, and since the Eagles won the head-to-head matchup, you can almost kind of say 3 in a sense. So they can't afford to drop this game. If they still want to have any chance of winning this division, these are the type of games where they got to still come out and take this team seriously and handle their business and get the job done. They cannot afford a letdown here against a team like the Carolina Panthers. But the Dallas Cowboys do weird stuff sometimes, man. I'm not going to pick it this time though. I'm not picking that this time. Like I picked it way back few weeks back against the Cardinals. I'm not picking this one, man. I think the Cowboys do come out here and handle their business this week against the Carolina Panthers, man. Yeah, I got you, bro. Willie Vassar, I got you. Give me 1 second. Adam, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here. I don't have much more to say about this game. So
you yeah, I'm right there with you. Hold on. All right. So we got one more game to discuss here, folks. Coming off of their bye, the Philadelphia Eagles, Monday night fucking showdown in Kansas City, baby. This is talking about arguably against the best team in the NFC. The best thing, I mean, right now, the Eagles got to call it
they're
like it
both
is, whether
best teams.
however you feel about them. The best damn team in the league. I mean, the Eagles are number one. Right now, until proven otherwise, the Eagles are the top team in the league until somebody else proves otherwise, man. So,
Right? You are what your record says you are. So
exactly. And right now, the record says they are the best team in football. So, this is going to be a hell of a game. Should be a hell of a game on Monday Night Football. Probably one of the better Monday night matchups we've gotten this far this season. This is definitely a big one, man, for both of these teams. I mean, they're both going to come out hungry. They're going to come out inspired, and I look forward to this one. I'm going to be working Monday night. Dang, I'll get off in time to see most of the game now. All right, so yeah, I look forward to this one, man. I can't wait. I think this is going to be there's two great teams, I mean, locking horns, man. A rematch of Super Bowl from a couple of years ago.
from the last
You
year,
can't ask for anything better, man. Oh, they did play last year in the regular season too. That's right. Shit.
I mean, Super Bowl last year, they were in the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champs. So remember Kadarius Toney with the middle finger? So they played last year. They're repeating the game again. So it's just crazy. They played less than 9 months ago.
Well, I don't know what you expect. What do you expect to see in this one, man? In this matchup on Monday Night Football and
Fireworks.
Week 11.
I think it's going to be an interesting game. I do. I kind of, people are going to hate me for saying this, but I think the Eagles are going to drop this game here. And I just think going to Arrowhead's different than playing on a neutral field. Arrowhead Stadium, I know the Eagles, it's a revenge game for the Eagles. They're going to want, obviously out for blood. But I think Kansas City needs to also win. And I just think, we haven't seen the Eagles have a dominant performance against a big team like this yet. So I want to see them go up against this team right now and see if they can figure it out, right? Andy Reid going up against Nick Sirianni, seeing what different trajectory they play. I think the Eagle defense is going to be good. But if they have, it's one of those funky games where I just want to see, I want to test it out. Because I know the Eagles dominated Miami, and Miami is a different animal than this team. The Kansas City defense is playing pretty well. They're a pretty decent defense.
Yes, they are.
They're a feisty defense. And again, both these teams played the Jets, right? And the Jets gave them both these teams fits. So it's going to be interesting to see what these two teams come out with and how they come out. Because I do believe Kansas City is slightly better. Is playing very well for their defense. Not that the Eagles are not. But I can see the Eagles, if they lose a game, it's because Kansas City puts it on them. And I'm not saying, I don't think it's going to be 28-17. I think it'll be a little closer than that. And I think it's going to be a higher scoring game than that, actually. I think it's going to be like a 31-35 type of game. I think that's what you're going to see. But I just think, plays are going to happen. The funniest part is this is not the first time they're seeing this Eagle team, recently. So we'll see how it works out. I can't wait to watch it. Like I said, it's going to be all the eyeballs are going to be on this game all week because it's going to be for example, Cowboys dismantle the Panthers. Then they're going to sit back with their popcorn on their off day, and they're probably going to watch the game together, some of them, and they're going to look at and see how this team comes out because it could be how they get back into the season. Remember, they lose one game and the Cowboys win out. That game against the Eagles is monumental. So we haven't had many of these games this season. And, we had them early on. Again, they haven't, not all of them delivered. This one, I think, is going to deliver. But actually, I shouldn't say to deliver. Detroit, Kansas City delivered. It was pretty good. That's the team I think.
But in the chat, Willie saying there's no way Kansas City loses to the Eagles. Eagles got a lot of players hurting out. But here's the thing with the Eagles. Eagles get players hurt. The Eagles have great depth on their football team. So they just pretty much plug the next guy in, man.
Right.
And it's usually they usually never lose a beat. It's just it almost looks complimentary to the starter, man, being out there no matter what. That's how greatly constructed this Eagles football team is, man. Where guys go down and it's just next man up. I mean, look at all the injuries they had to their O-line last season and how they still weathered that storm and played through the season last year, man, got through the season. I mean, they had both of their tackles at one point out and injured, and they just got guys that just come fill in the spots, man. It's just this team is fascinating. I just hate how good they are because I hate this team, and I just hate how, and it makes me mad how good they are because I have to sit here on this show and talk about how good they are every damn Wednesday when I hate this damn team. But it's just the truth, man. It's just the truth. It is what it is, man. They're a great football team, and in the depth, and this is why you get those good depth pieces like that because this is football. It's a contact sport, and guys get hurt. People go down, and you want to be able to have somebody that you can depend on filling in. Look at the New York Giants. Going back to the damn Giants again. Look at the New York Giants situation right now. Guys are getting hurt. We're down to an undrafted rookie quarterback, man. Like, what? What is going on?
Right. They have Marcus Mariota
to come in and be able to win games.
Well, they have Marcus Mariota.
Jalen Hurts goes down. At least the Eagles have
and Tanner McKee.
Mariota. I mean, you can go on and on and on. You can go on and on with the
Listen,
with
they got rid of Andre Dillard.
Plug in and play, man.
They got rid of Andre Dillard. Okay, Andre Dillard is now starting for somebody else on another team. Okay, they thought that guy wasn't good enough to be on their team. They got rid of him, and now he's on another team. I mean, that just shows you what they do, right? They have guys come in left and right. But not for nothing, Kansas City has some solid players as well. And I think what will separate the two will be this, is if Kansas City runs the football and keeps the clock on their side, wins the time of possession and scores touchdowns, I think they will beat the Eagles. Because I think the Eagles sometimes can turn the ball over. They've been sloppy in some games this year with the ball. And they were sloppy with the Cowboys last week as well. They landed on those fumbles. People forget they landed on those fumbles. If they don't land on those fumbles, again, the game could be different. You can't do that against Kansas City and get away with it the same way, especially if a few of those bounce Kansas City's way, right? So I think for me, the bye week comes at a good time for the Cowboys. I mean, the Eagles. They have to come back out here and show you that they took the time to get better. And if they play flawless football, they're probably winning. If they play a little sloppy and have some turnovers, we'll see. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I cannot wait to watch this game. And I hate to say that because I don't want to watch the Eagles. I think I hate Daniel Jones a little bit more these days than the Eagles. That's how I feel about the Eagles right now. I'd rather watch the Eagle game than listen to any more of this Daniel Jones crap. And I'll say this right now. Never mind. I'll save that for the end of the show. I don't want to talk about it.
But I mean, both these teams are actually coming off of their byes last week.
They both have
were on
byes?
bye last week, so that makes this matchup. Yeah, they both were on bye last week.
One's coming off a loss.
That makes this a little more intriguing. But the Chiefs are coming off of a bad loss as well. I mean, it was a loss to the Denver Broncos. And Broncos have been on a roll lately. Obviously, they have been on a roll a little bit, but still, that's not a game you expected the Chiefs to go out there and lose a couple of weeks ago. And so they've had all that extra time to think about it and let that sink in. And I think Andy Reid's going to have these guys absolutely ready to go, and Patrick Mahomes is going to be motivated to go out there against a good, very, very good Philadelphia Eagle football team and prove that KC is still also one of those teams at the top of the league, man, right now, because they've been kind of tumbling down a little bit in the power rankings or such or whatever, however you feel about that a little bit. So I don't know. This game is going to be awesome, man. You're talking about two just really good teams. A potential Super Bowl preview right here. You know what I mean? It's not like it would be out of the realm that these two teams could be in the Super Bowl again. I mean, it is though. It's just not the truth. These are two teams that could legitimately both be there, man. So, so we'll see, man. We'll see what we get, man. But this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think just because I think Kansas City is going to be a little bitter out there at home, coming off that bad loss a couple weeks ago, and having all that time to get ready for this Eagle team, and not to slight the Eagles, not to slight the Eagles, but I think KC does pull this one out as well. It'll be a close one, but it'll be a close, high-scoring affair. Like you said, it'll be a fun game to watch as a football fan, man. I think KC does win a close one. And let's see.
Is that your opinion on the Eagles?
Have the same luck as they had in Philadelphia when they come to Dallas. We play good at home. We are 12-0 at home. All right, well, we'll see, man.
Well, that's what we're saying. The destiny is in their hands. If the Cowboys handle their business, they'll be able to do what they need to do. And that game will be huge.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, any more thoughts on this matchup Monday Night Football, Adam?
Just get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be one of those games that, like you said, could be a Super Bowl preview, but at least we haven't. I feel like we've missed many of the marquee games in the season, and it's good to see some teams this late in the year fighting for supremacy of both their team and the NFL, duking it out on Monday Night Football, because Monday Night Football has had some clunkers recently.
They most definitely have. I mean, New York Giants still got one more Monday night game, believe it or not. Too bad they can't flex Monday night games, because that needs to be just throw that shit out.
They can flex games.
Not Monday night games. They don't flex.
Yes, they can. I've heard. I think those Monday nights can be flexed as well. Hello.
Nah, I've never seen flex a Monday night game before ever. Only Sunday night games after like week 12 or something like that. Monday night schedule usually always just stays whatever it is, no matter what. But yeah, guys, this one might guess unless you have any more thoughts on anything NFC East, Adam, before we get ready to wrap things up.
I do.
Hey,
If the if the
bro.
if the Giants don't draft a quarterback, this if the Giants don't draft a quarterback this offseason, I am not following them next year. I will not. I refuse to watch this team if they don't do what's right by the organization when they have an actual chance to do it. Don't sit. I don't care. I don't care what quarterback it is. Take one. And on that note, that's all I have to say with the NFC.
It's like the Giants when they had Joe Morris. Goodness gracious, bro. That's way back in the day. That's when he was the running back when I became a fan back in the day, man. Joe Morris, that was my guy, man. That's what I'm talking about right there. Those are the years I want to get back to years like that. Those good glory years, man.
So what?
Be
So
the
what happened
Giants
to
always.
Why can't he be a? Why can't he be a? Why is he not a Giant fan anymore? What happened? Morris left. You decided to leave.
Look, those were the glory years, man. Those were the great years as being a New York Giant fan. Those are the years that I remember to just get that little
You and
warm
John
feeling
Mara
in my
both.
belly,
John Mara runs the team like he's still in
that's
the
what I want
80s.
to see again. That's what I want to
I'm
see. I
serious.
want to see. I want to see giant teams like that again, man. He does. He's right. The game, like some. That's what a lot of these older guys in general. Not to just stereotype these guys, but it is what it is. They
Oh,
seem like they don't want to evolve with the game, man. Like they don't want it. The evolution of the game is just not the same. Just the
well,
way the game is played, everything is just it's different, man. These
I
guys
thought about
seem
it.
to want to be thinking it's the same. You can do the same thing you could do back then.
I thought about it. 1925, this team has been around. It's had the Maras have been in the for 3 generations. The Maras have been in with this team. Okay, they've run it like a family business for over 100 years, and that's the problem that they have is that they want their players to feel so loved and so wanted that it's hard for like right now they're fanning the flames of getting a new quarterback because they don't want Daniel Jones to feel bad. Oh, we're not moving on from him. Blah. Give me a break. Any rational organization is going to make a move regardless of what happens. All right, it's a smart decision. It's not even if we hate Daniel, it's not because we hate him. It's because rationally, with all the injuries, you've got to make that move. Okay, and it's been run like a business, and that's why guys are on scholarship. That's why guys like Barkley, how now how they're treating him now. That's why we don't get rid of these guys because we run it like a family business. And as long as John Mara continues to do that, this team is going nowhere. If he decides to let these guys run the show, we're going to go up and away, and we go. Because if you look what they did in the Cowboys, right? Jerry Jones stepped back. His son is the owner of the team, and his son makes a lot of decisions. Jerry's still there. Don't get me wrong. He has final say. Jerry would be mad at me right now. He'd come in here and be like, Adam, what are you talking about? I still own this team. But no, he has taken a step back in a role where he's letting guys run the team the right way, right? The Commanders just got new ownership. We're going to see how they run their team, right? The Eagles are a progressive organization. They're always thinking forward. They don't care about who's in a position. They'll just draft a guy to say, hey, maybe we trade him down the road, right? They don't have the loyalties that we do to fans. You know how long it takes us to get rid of certain guys? Eli Manning, we couldn't move off from. We can't even move on from Daniel Jones right now because, the owner is so tied to him. And I think that's the detriment of what the Giants are. While it was good in the 80s to be family, and even in the 90s, now you got to run it like a corporate 500 company that it is, the billion-dollar organization that it has become, and say, listen, we got to make some hard choices these days. And you could still run a family business and still do it, but you got to be a little bit more less forgiving and more saying, hey, listen, you can't get the job done, you got to go.
I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna put the whole family thing because look at the Rooneys in Pittsburgh, man. They're still a pretty well oiled machine. I mean, sure, the team is necessarily as great as some of the teams in the past, but at the end of the day, they're still a
They've
very
had
much
success.
a competent football team and an organization. I mean, they've literally only had three coaches in their whole franchise history. I mean,
Right.
so
But
they
but
demonstrate that loyalty as well from that family, like you saying, that whole family standpoint. But at the end of the day, they're very much a competent team. They don't just sit there and they don't
yeah, but they
just
don't
pay
keep players just to
lousy
keep players.
players and keep them around. Yeah, they don't do that. They don't do stuff like that. They still
Right. So they run it
make
differently.
tough decisions when they have to make tough decisions. Yeah,
Let me ask you
they
this:
still make
Do you think
decisions when they have to
Sterling
make them.
Shepard? Do you think Sterling Shepard's on Pittsburgh right now? Probably not. Right?
Of course not.
They're not going to hold on. Mike Tomlin would say we like Sterling Shepard, but we got to move on. Right? That's what he would say. And that's what I mean. He's not. They're not going to just keep players for nostalgia purposes. Hell, they don't even bring back players the same way like we do. Like let's bring back this guy. Let's bring back this guy. Like because we want. So we brought back Justin Pugh. They're not looking for Justin Pugh. They're looking for somebody else. They're not bringing the guys back for nostalgia. We do. We bring back these guys. We're bringing back Sterling Shepard. He has nothing to do with this team, like going forward. That's why I'm saying, like, even though Pittsburgh still is run as a family business, they still don't have family business concepts where, hey, look, it's like this, right? Your cousin sucks at the job, right? But it's your cousin that you grew up with for how many years? Are you really going to be the one to tell him he's fired? No, you're not. You're going to be the one that's like, oh, let's keep him around. That's what it is with the Giants. They don't have the gravitas to be like, listen, man, you stink at your job. Now, they tried to do that with the GM, but Chris Mara is still around. They don't want to look like an idiot with this contract with the coach. So instead of cutting the player, we're going to keep him around here and cause all this drama unnecessarily and all this this stir crazy, make the media stir crazy to think that we're going to have some smoke and mirror that we're not going to pick a quarterback when there are a ton of them coming out. And I get it. You can pick one in the second round, and that may be at the very least the appeasement of coming out. But if that does happen, you've got to question Brian Dable and Joe Shane, who, by the way, may not get another job again. Look at all the people who have been in Giant front offices right now. Where are they? Mark Ross on TV. Jerry Reese, no job. McAdoo, in and out of the league. Pat Shurmur in college. Joe Judge hanging on for dear life with New
New
England.
England.
Now, Sean
New England.
McDermott is getting fired. It might be getting fired if he doesn't make the playoffs in Buffalo. So there's no guarantee that they would have a job there going forward the same way. So my point is this: if you're going to fall on the Daniel Jones sword, well then bye. You're already gone in my eyes. If you're going to at least tease me, do it the right way. And that's the problem I have with the Giants is they too family oriented. They're like the Yankees sometimes. Sometimes you got to be a Fortune 500 company. Even the Mets, who are still they cut players, they move on. They don't have like this loyalty that they want, except for Bobby Bonilla. That's a different story. But you know what I mean? Like the Giants
Jesus.
keeping Sterling Shepard too long, keeping this guy too long. Saquon Barkley, I don't want to be traded. I want to stay here. Why do you want to stay here in a losing culture, in a losing environment? You still want to stay here? Like that's what I mean. It's time to put our big boy pants on and be a big boy organization and make the tough decisions. And if you do that, I assure you, John Mara, the team will be better off. If you let this regime pick their quarterback, whoever that might be in the first round, that they fall in love with, let them do it.
I mean, with the Sterling Shepard thing, because we keep going back to Sterling Shepard, like I was perfectly fine with bringing him back into training camp and giving him an opportunity to come out and make this football team again. I mean, I was perfectly fine with that. But when you looking at him and watch him move around and see that he just doesn't have it anymore, you're right. You can't take up waste roster spots with guys like that. I mean, it is what it is. Like you said, it's a business. It's a business first. I had no
Right.
problem with giving him an opportunity, but at the end of
Right.
the day, he did not look like the same guy. He did not like he could get it done anymore. I mean, his knees, he's had a multitude of injuries, and they have finally officially caught all the way up with him to the point where he doesn't move the same. He's not the same player anymore. He
Right.
was a decent player. He absolutely was a decent
But that
player.
touchdown
He
wasn't
was never
great. It
anything
was
great.
against Scrubs.
Yeah, but he was he was a decent player for the New York Giants, and that's all good and everything. But he's just not the same guy anymore, and he's just not. I mean, he's taking up a roster spot for no reason. Basically, he has no purpose on this roster at all, really. At this point, he doesn't even play special teams. He's just here. He's just literally there. I don't. So yeah, it's weird. It's confusing. I don't get it. But look, let's just get to the off season because this has been stressful. I've never been, like anticipating the off season like I am right now. Like I just want to get
I
there
can't wait for it.
because this season is an absolute nightmare. Season an absolute nightmare, and it's hard every week to sit here and keep watching the New York Giants play football. I'm sitting there and watching these games and then talking about these games, doing streams about them, videos about. It's like it's getting to the point. It's getting really really difficult. It's getting difficult, man. Because it's like I don't know what else to say anymore.
But see, the thing is this. The
No,
thing is this.
they're worse than bad. I don't even know what they
you
are. They're worse than bad.
if you draft a quarterback, at least there's hope that you're like, all right, maybe I can suffer through the losing because there's some type of light at the end of the tunnel. If you just run it back with Daniel Jones and say, oh, here we go, we're going to do it again, I tend to think it's still going to be another miserable season because next year you pay the AFC North. And by all means, those teams are pretty good. And they're going to be pretty good next year defensively as well. Okay? And you still play the Cowboys, you still play the Eagles. Those are 6 games right there where you are not going to be in the driver's seat in any of them. And as long as you have that guy on your team, that albatross on your team, you're not going to win. And you need hope. And this fan base needs hope. This fan base needs, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm teasing this on Premium Takes, but I'll tease it here. 20 years in April will mark the day the Giants changed their franchise fortunes for the better. You think about that. Giants have had 2 quarterbacks in 20 years. And the one that I'm talking about is going to be in the Hall of Fame. 20 years ago, this April, it's going to be 20 years since the franchise changed. Guess what? We're in position to do it again. Let's have this conversation again in 20 years saying, man, 20 years ago today, the Giants changed their franchise fortunes for the better for the second time in 2 decades. Let's do it.
Let's hope it happens, man. I mean, let's look at this. Okay, somebody on Twitter, I can't remember. I wish I had the tweet. I should have saved the tweet. But they put up the New York Giants this quarterback situation this season. Daniel Jones making $40 million, 2 touchdown passes on the season. Tyrod Taylor making whatever he's making, 2 touchdown passes on the season. Tommy DeVito, who is definitely making way less than both of them, 2 touchdowns on the season. Like that's where we're at right now as an organization. We are 11 damn weeks into this season now, and the New York Giants have 6 passing touchdowns collectively on the season.
Russell has 18
between three quarterbacks, between 3 guys.
Well, maybe
they have collectively 6 passing touchdowns.
Maybe Tommy will get a couple more as we go. A couple garbage time touchdowns to pad his stats.
Yeah, sure he will. But that's also that Tommy DeVito is going to probably ultimately end up leading the New York Giants in touchdown passes when it's all said and done this season.
Oh my God!
Come on, make that make sense. Make that make sense to me.
And if we end up with the second pick and they go with the second pick in the 2024 draft, the New York Giants select, Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm going to kick a fucking toilet seat. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be, that's where we're going, right to the shitter. Okay. You need hope. This franchise needs hope. They will accept the losing of 2024 if you have a young gun under center. They will not do it if you bring back Danny DeVito and, Forrest Gump as your quarterbacks. They just won't.
Well, number 2 overall pick, they got to take a quarterback there because you're going to still have potentially Caleb Williams sitting there because you look, Chicago, if Carolina hangs on and has the first overall pick, which is going to Chicago, Chicago's not taking a quarterback, I don't think, right? Or they're giving up on Jalen Justin Fields to the point where taking a quarterback with the first overall pick,
Well,
right?
here's the thing.
I
Here's the
don't, I
thing.
don't, I wouldn't
I have
think
that
they
same
would do
theory.
that.
I have that same theory that you have, and here's why it's coming down the pike because they're putting too much defensive players together. Eberflus will now be in his third season, right, with this team, and Justin Fields has not necessarily improved, but you got him DJ Moore. You're bringing in other guys. Why not draft and off? Why wouldn't I bring in Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Chicago Bears? Have DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr. If I were them, I'd trade out of the first pick and let whoever desperate needy team, whether that's the Giants or whatever, gain more picks, right? And then they could for example, if they trade from 1 to 2, Giants take Caleb Williams, the Bears take, let's say, Drake May. I don't think they will. It depends on how Justin Fields plays because I don't think the Cardinals right now are taking a quarterback. I think they're going to ride with Kyler Murray. He came back and won them a game, and they paid him a lot of money. And he's better than Daniel Jones, people. That's the difference between Kyler Murray and the situation they're in. See, that's what I want to say right now. If Daniel Jones was Kyler Murray and he had an injury, I'd say let's not draft a quarterback. We still got one. Let's go get some weapons for him. He's not that guy. So now you have a chance to go get him. And I'm telling you right now, Mac, there's going to be 5 guys in this draft. And there's going to be guys moving up the draft board as we speak. Right now, we're talking about November. We wait till January. Wait till March. Wait till pro days. April 1st, I'm telling you right now, there'll be like 6 guys they're talking about that are probably going to go in the first round. And the Giants can try to manipulate and be cute. But just get somebody in here. And don't do a second-round pick. Do a first-round pick. That means we know you're committed to the full rebuild. You do a second-round pick, it's like, well, we might be committed, but we might not be.
No, I mean, I'm figuring if the Giants are sitting where they're sitting at right now, which is like number 2 pick or whatever, I mean, quarterback is a no. It has to be quarterback if you're sitting in one of those spots. I think the only way you think about it all, because you think about it all, is if you're outside the maybe top 5, which I don't see. That's not going to happen. I just don't see
That's
it
not
happening.
happening. I looked at
That's what I'm
Tankathon.
saying.
Like, I looked at Tankathon, and right now Arizona is at 4. Chicago with 3 wins is at 5. And you think Green Bay is going to win a game or 2. LA might win a game or 2, and the Tennessee Titans might win a couple more games. The Giants, I don't see. I think at best the Giants win 4 games, and I don't even think that's going to get them out of the top 3 spot because you still play New England. I think the New England game is really going to tell you where you're going to go, right? If the Giants lose to New England, which I think they will, I think they lose to New England because I think New England, Bill Belichick's going to want to, put a stamp on it, right? And they get there, and if he's coming here, it'd be better for him to beat us so he can get a better draft choice, right? I mean, so I think they'll lose that game, and at that point they'll be 2-10, and everybody else will be like 3-9. And I don't think at that point, I think the Giants will continue losing, and I think it'll be too hard for them to climb out of I think they're going to end up with a top 5 pick at the end of the day. That's what I'm going to say. Top 5 pick at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty, like you said, pretty sure they will be, and it's at that point, it's got to be quarterback all the way with that first pick. I mean, anything else would just be, it would be irresponsible.
The
you pretty
Giants
much said,
they're
it would be
losing
irresponsible.
3 in a row. They've lost 3 in a row right now. Arizona's won 1. Before we end, if you're on Arizona Cardinals watch, let's see who they play real quick next, so you guys can get an idea of what might happen. They played the Falcons. They played the Texans. They're not beating the Texans. Okay, they're probably not beating the Rams. That team, 49ers. They have a chance.
Rams been shaky lately, man. The Rams have not been impressive the last few weeks. And
the Cardinals may not win another game on the street. So we'll see. There's some winnable games on here for the Cardinals. I think they win at least one more. So we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rams are one of those teams right now beginning to look like the team I thought they were going to be all season, but they're starting to kind of fall back to that, looking like that team now here lately. Well, I mean, especially with Matthew Stafford being all banged up. So I mean, Carson Wentz. They did go in there and brought Carson Wentz in for I guess to try to salvage their season, but I don't know. The Rams getting a little bit shaky too. I'd watch out for them trying to creep up into a little bit of higher draft status the rest of the way going forward. But uh, thanks for coming on board too, man. I appreciate you, Joaquin Williams. I appreciate you, man. Stopping in if you're new to the channel, man. Sub up, like on both our channels, Hardcore Sports Network as well, man. Really appreciate it, man. Help support the channels, help support the show. We do this every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, breaking down the NFC East. This is what me and my guy Adam Costas we do, man. Don't be in such a hurry to draft Caleb Williams. He's overhyped. People keep saying that,
But here's the thing: there's going to be a lot of
but
quarterbacks. Pick the guy you want.
yeah, whether it's him or not. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Right. Pick the guy you want.
but
Pick the guy you want. My point is this: we know the and this will be my last point, and then we can wrap the show up. When this draft season comes, right now we're talking about two guys. There's a third guy, Michael Penix, who might be moving up. There's guys like J.J. McCarthy and Jaden Daniels, who I talked about as well, who will start to move into the conversation of being in the consideration for being a top 10 pick if they are at the quarterback position. Now, like we said, there's going to be a lot of teams. Atlanta might be looking for a quarterback. They might try to trade up and they might try to get in there, but they're still winning games right now. So there's a lot of guys in here that you can maneuver with. Now, I like Drake May. I think he's the better of the two options. I wouldn't care for either. It's like having filet mignon or, prime rib. Take your choice. They're both going to be delicious. You know what I mean?
matter of fact, the thing we were just talking about, the damn Rams. I mean, they're probably being played for a quarterback. You know what I mean? Obviously
Right.
Matthew Stafford's not going to be the future of what they got going on in their future plans. You know what I mean? So
Right.
they're probably going to be in the mix for a quarterback. Actually, a team nobody's really talking about that, but they probably most
Exactly.
likely will be.
Right. And they don't have any apparent
So
parent. They might like Stenson Bennett, but this is what I mean. So if you like Bo Nix and you want to trade with the Rams because the Rams want, they want Caleb Williams, and they're going to give you an arm and a leg to move up in the draft to go get Caleb Williams, and you still think you can win with Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix, who are having phenomenal years, and you're like, this guy could raise the Lombardi for us, go get him. Just go get him because you build a team on that rookie quarterback deal. Okay, that's how you can do it, and you can get guys in here, and you can make the punching bag as the season goes on. Because the Giants are terrible. All right, they have holes across the board. They're going to be terrible next year as well. At least if you get a quarterback in here, we can at least try to piece things together in 2024, try to win some games, and just kind of build some continuity, and then 2025 really start to contend as we move forward with the new quarterback.
I mean, the more I look at the Houston Texans and watch things CJ Stroud is doing, the more I am beginning to just be really more 100,000% on board with quarterback no matter what, because it's just you
Anthony
get that
Richardson,
right guy, man. You get that right guy, but what CJ Stroud is doing is different level than Anthony Richardson. I'm sorry.
right,
CJ
right,
Stroud, what he's doing is incredible because this Houston team, they picked number 2 overall for a reason last year because they were absolutely horrible. And what he's done with this football team, with still a lot of no-name guys on the roster, not a lot of household names, and he's just elevated that football team, man. Just his presence alone has elevated that football team, and they are playing out of their mind, and they have a legitimate shot to maybe even get into the postseason. It's just get the quarterback. Daniel Jones is done. Don't want to hear about that guy anymore. He's not. He's done in New York. It's over with. It's over with. Stop talking about it. Stop coming up with scenarios in which they keep Daniel Jones and do all this other crazy shit. Jones ain't the answer. A new quarterback needs to come on board and needs to turn things around, help start beginning to turn things around. It's not going to happen next year. It's just this team has too many holes in it, like you said.
unless you
It's a
get CJ
Swiss cheese
Stroud.
roster completely. It's not going to just completely turn around, most likely. I mean, yeah, but yeah, you're right. See, look, just what he's doing in Houston is just amazing. Like I said, this kid is not just in the Rookie of the Year, as he is Rookie of the Year, going to be Rookie of the Year, obviously, barring something catastrophic.
Has there ever been
But
a
he's
rookie
in the
MVP?
MVP race. He's in the MVP race, legitimately in the MVP race. It's not even an
Till they get to the
exaggeration.
playoffs.
So, Yeah. I mean,
They get to the playoffs, I have to
just-
consider it.
he's showing you if you get that right guy at QB and then you nail it, good things happen, man. So I definitely do appreciate everybody, man, coming out, man, enjoying the show and joining the chat, keeping the chat lit. Most definitely, man. You know, this is me and Adam. We'll be back once again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Wednesday for another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round-Up. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. This is my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas.
Have a good
We'll
night.
see y'all later, man. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa Giants fan.